My name is Samantha Getz. I'm with Orbis Corporation and the Reusable Packaging Association. I'd like to first of all welcome you to the Reusable Packaging Sustainability Theater here at MODEX. Had some great programming yesterday, and some great programming ahead today, and some events happening tomorrow as well, so be sure to come on back. Again, I'm Samantha with Orbis. Bob Peterson was unable to make the event, so I'll be sharing this information with you, so I'm really excited to be here. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to define reusable packaging first of all and talk about how it's a reusable asset that really moves, stores, stages, handles product throughout the supply chain. Obviously, in the circular economy. Really designed to travel in a loop. And we're going to talk a little bit about the circular economy as well. It's based on the principles of designing out waste, keeping products in use, and remanufacturing. That's according to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. So really, all the things that we're doing in the reusable packaging industry are really line up really well with the circular economy. That's what we've been doing for many, many decades. The notion of the circular economy, though, really challenges companies, brands, CPGs, retailers to manufacture, consume, reuse, recycle, and remanufacture with little or no impact on the natural ecosystem. So that's our goal here, is to really reuse packaging throughout its entire life cycle, and then reprocess, remanufacture into other packaging at the end of its service life, so it can continue to serve in your supply chain. So why reusables for the supply chain? Lots of benefits. I'm going to talk about 6 of the top ones. First of all, it really drives sustainable supply chains and overall a circular economy. It also reduces waste in a lot of different ways. Yes, solid waste, but also wasted walk time, wasted transportation, wasted downtime in a facility. So reduces waste in a lot of different aspects. It also cuts automation downtime. For those of companies that have used packaging that could be unreliable, when your automation goes down due to some packaging that is not standardized, obviously that takes away from the bottom line. So really standardization is a key, and reusables are able to deliver that. Also optimizes labor, and again, this is another one that it optimizes labor in a lot of different places within the supply chain. First of all, in your manufacturing plant, less walk time. If you have standardized packaging, it's easier assembly. At the retail level, it is less merchandising time, less unload time from the truck to the back of the store into the aisle. So really labor across the supply chain benefits when you're using reusables. And it keeps plants and equipment clean. I think in this time of maintenance costs, high maintenance costs, cleanup, things like that, companies just don't have time or resources to be able to put towards maintenance costs that may be due to alternative materials getting stuck in machinery and things like that. So dust, debris, things like that on plant floors and in equipment can really halt your equipment or your automated system. So keeping plants and equipment clean is something that we're hearing every single day from customers, CPGs, retailers alike, that they need to have their plants moving, their equipment moving, and reusable packaging is able to do that. And it also finally optimizes transportation. So when you're moving product from the manufacturing plant to a distribution center and then distribution to retail, you need to cube out those trucks, and those trucks need to be so standardized from a pallet standpoint as well as a container standpoint. So reusables are all designed on certain footprints, and that gives you the ability to totally max out that truck as much as you can, so you're less trucks, faster routes, things like that. Why now? So reusables have been around for a long, long time. Today, there's a great opportunity, obviously, with all the news about the circular economy and sustainability. Again, why now? Why today? We're finding that our customers, CPGs, retailers alike, are really obviously, as they're trying to serve a newer generation, that newer generation is asking for products that are made sustainably. Not only do they want the bottles, shampoo bottles, toothpaste, all their household goods coming in sustainable packaging, they also want their company to be sustainable, the entire supply chain sustainable, not just the product that they're getting in their home. So that's where reusables come in. That's where reusables in a supply chain come in. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that are driving that. The percentage of people who are going to pay more for an eco-friendly product, it's 6 out of 10 people are going to pay more for a sustainable product made in a sustainable way, which that's where we all come in the supply chain. And again, that's from ages 16 to 35. So lots of consumers in that range are, they're probably the biggest spenders in our area right now. So really important for us to be able to continue to push reusables in the supply chain so companies can be more sustainable overall. I think the one thing on this slide I want to talk about is 74% of people want products that are made out of recycled or sustainable materials, and you see that every day in the store shelf when you're buying from Amazon. People want product packaged in a sustainable way with sustainable materials, and again, that starts also back in the supply chain: pallets, reusable totes, things like that. And purchasing drivers. I think the big thing that people want to buy from companies that are socially responsible and care about the environment and want to make a difference on the planet. So I think that we're seeing that more and more in our business, and we know our customers are seeing that as well. The next couple of slides, I'm going to actually talk about some examples, show you some numbers of ways that you can bring savings to your company in terms of environmental aspects. So one example would be an application, maybe you're using totes in your application, either in a distribution center, an e-commerce fulfillment center, maybe a manufacturing plant. So for instance, you were to use 60,000 totes in your program, your fleet overall. Say they go 6 trips a year. Those totes last 8 years. The average tote weight is about 22 pounds, or the product weight is about 22 pounds, and maybe it travels 300 miles in its trip. You could expect an energy reduction of 31%, solid waste reduction of nearly 80%, and a greenhouse gas reduction of 38%. So lots and lots of environmental savings when you make the shift to reusables. Lots of great savings. And this doesn't address the economic savings. Today we're talking about really environmental, and there are a lot of savings around the economics as well, especially when you have a tote that can live at that service life and it goes 6 trips a year. That's not possible with non-reusables or single-use packaging. Let's talk about pallets for a little bit. We've got a scenario where you have a program of maybe 3,000 pallets, which is a smaller program, a 4% replacement rate. Those also another 6 trips a year, an 8-year life, and maybe your average weight load is 700 pounds. In a 300-mile trip, it's going to get backhauled at the time of delivery. And then at the end of its service life, it can be recycled. So those are all kind of the assumptions. What you could expect there is about a 71% reduction in energy usage, a 72% reduction in solid waste, and just over a 3% reduction in greenhouse gas. So some significant solid waste and energy reduction possibilities available with plastic pallets today. In a case study of a cosmetic company, I talked a lot about CPGs and retailers, but this is one company. They actually make cosmetics, and they were, prior to using reusables, they were using some single-use pallets and shrink wrap and layer pads. When they switched to a plastic pallet with corrugated rigid side sleeves, they were able to reduce waste, had a lot better handling out in the plant in terms of ergonomics and worker safety. Really streamlined automation. You can see on the single-use pallet, some broken boards, things like that, that's all potential for slowing down an automated system. And then obviously overall waste reduction. And these are some of the numbers when we do our analysis, these are some of the numbers that we use to provide those numbers in the overall report. This is all unbiased. Franklin and Associates does life cycle analysis, and that gives you the option to be able to put in all your inputs and get out results at the end of the analysis that I talked about a couple slides earlier. So getting started, I think probably the biggest thing that we hear from our customers every day is the fact that they have a packaging challenge, maybe at one part of their supply chain, and we help with, we'll help them with that certain application, but we also help broaden their perspective and look at their entire supply chain. Because once you look at the entire supply chain, you can realize that maybe one application here will very much impact another application far down the road. So, you've got something you're designing in the plant that makes perfect sense for the plant, but once you put it in a truck, is it optimized for the truck? That's a big question and something that not everyone always thinks about. And then also, is it optimized for retail delivery? So once you get into retail delivery, you may be losing all the savings you had in the manufacturing plant if you're not optimized to deliver at that retailer. So those are the types of things that we work on and try to help people understand. We look and analyze our system. Definitely want to be designing a program that works not only in one application, but will have great benefits along the way the rest of the supply chain. Obviously, we always have to prove it. I mean, everybody in here, when you have a new project, you always have to have economic and environmental numbers to be proving your project. So that's definitely part of our process. Obviously implementing, and then always looking at how to get better. Continuous improvement is something that, especially in packaging, there's always opportunities to do more applications like they're existing, as well as improving on the applications that are out there already. And really, now is the time. I mean, I feel like if you are, watching the news and listening to all the circular economy media that's out there, I think today, now is the time. Our younger generation is really looking to be purchasing and working with brands and CPGs that are acting in a sustainable way. And there's a lot of ways to do that. A lot of automation, a lot of transportation. Obviously, you've been walking around the show, so you've seen a lot of great options, but packaging is really part of that as well. So definitely something that you want to be thinking about and including in all your planning decisions. 2/3 of customers are willing to pay more for sustainable products, and that means the entire supply chain. So it really starts now. Can I answer any questions about the presentation, circular economy, reusable packaging? Be happy to take questions. Well, great. Right. For sure. The question was around backhaul and figuring that into your analysis. And the examples that we shared, we talk about backhaul. All those included the return transportation and everything that's involved in that, the truck, the fuel, all the miles. So all that goes into that. So when you're seeing results like that, that's all being taken into consideration. Definitely. Yep. You have to look at the whole picture for sure. Any other questions? Great. Excellent. Well, thanks so much for joining us in the Reusable Packaging Sustainability Theater. I look forward to having you come back for other sessions. Enjoy your time at the show.